All righty. Welcome, everybody, to our new episode of Brownsville Tech Live. I've actually lost track of how many episodes I've done. Not many this start of the year. I've been a little ill. I'm still trying to get over this cough. But tonight, one of my best friends has decided to help me out here. He knows that I've been suffering for a couple of weeks now, so he's going to fill in the gaps if I lose it tonight here somewhere. So, welcome back, Mr. Steve Rodriguez. It's been too long.
Well, people, some of us have to work. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And we have a little counterpart here, man. Let's see him?
Oh, look
Right
at
there.
Hash Brown. He
Yeah.
got a
Hash Brown decided
haircut.
to be part of the show.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow,
he
he got a
jumped on the
haircut
bandwagon.
just for the show.
Yep. Yeah, he got all groomed and he's ready. See him?
Wow,
See?
I do
So
see
he's
him.
ready.
Actually, we had Ty groomed last week, and I think Oreo's due for one this weekend because he's pretty shaggy right now. And
And where do you get him groomed at?
I get him groomed at, well, Ty, we have a mobile groomer that she comes to the house and does the grooming. She has a like an RV that she pulls in
Oh,
the back of
wow.
our truck, and
Mm-hmm.
she goes around town grooming the dogs. And the only reason we have her is because Ty, for whatever reason, when he was younger, somebody he went to a groomer and they accidentally either poked his eye or hurt him or something.
Not good.
Nope. And as a result, he doesn't let too many people touch him.
Oh,
And we had a lot of trouble at different groomers. He just wouldn't let them. He'd bite them and nip at them. So we finally found this one and gave it a try, and she's got the magic touch. He just loves her. There he
awesome.
is. And
Hey, got a question for you. Are
uh
you on Facebook
I am on Facebook.
Live?
Yeah.
I didn't get a notification.
It's there, something screwy. Yeah, it's we're going. We're going
I
on
didn't get a
Facebook.
notification at all.
Yeah, they're
Usually,
yeah. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. They've made some changes,
mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason, their video tends to be slow. So I'm not really sure how all that goes, but anyway, so Ty goes to the mobile groomer, and then Oreo goes over to Posh here on Pablo Quesel. He likes to go there, but they're they're pretty good there too. It's just that unfortunately Ty is very special, so but so he's got a grooming scheduled hopefully on Saturday. We'll see if they can fit me in. I haven't even called, so
well, it might help if you holiday.
I
It's
know,
already
but
Thursday.
I can't even I'm so busy that I can't even dial my cell phone, you know. So,
Mm.
but
Well, good
yeah,
thing you have Siri for that. Mm.
I know.
I
Did you
see.
hear that? Well, I don't know if you have Facebook portals, but those are like the Amazon Alexa Echoes, the ones with the
No,
screen.
no. I'm a poor man. Remember, right? Yeah, I don't have any of that high fancy gadget stuff. Right?
Yeah, hold on one
No.
second. The dogs are really giving me a hard time. Hold on. I'm going to step away for a second.
Alrighty.
Oh, no, it was Annette and Kristen. They were coming back.
All
So
right.
anyway, Facebook had come out with these portals, okay?
Uh huh.
And they were like the Alexa Echoes, and you could, do video conferencing with anybody that had a through Messenger, through Facebook
All right.
Messenger. And they were pretty cool. They had those, they had a little bar that you could buy for your TV with a video camera. But for whatever reason, Facebook's decided they no longer want to be in that business of selling those devices. So those of us who have an investment in the Facebook portal are going to lose a lot of functions as a result of them not wanting to be in the business. They
Oh
did
wow.
say that you can use the Alexa app within the portal to do the kind of things you did before, like ask it for the weather or whatever, you know. But as far as them doing maintaining that service, they're no longer going to do that. So, for anybody out there that has any Facebook portal or Meta portal devices, you're screwed after
Man,
February
that's not good.
24th,
That's not good. I see
right
you went
before
to a go.
Charo Days. And by the way, are you getting ready for Charo Days? I know that you're a frequent visitor to Sombrero
Sombrero
Fest.
Fest. Well, as luck would have it, this year I'm actually off.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow.
But, however, I saw the recent lineups of the groups,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't attract me.
Oh.
All right. So I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
you're
we
getting
might go,
old
we
and you
might not.
don't
Who
like
knows?
that kind of music anymore.
It's not that I don't like that kind of music. It's that I'll be honest with you. I've been out of the music scene for a while. That I don't know who's who anymore.
Well, that's true. Most of them are in jail
Oh,
por andar de
and besides, dude,
mañosos.
the price is how much?
Actually, one got out of prison recently, so he's back on track again.
The
So
price is how much?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it's $30, right? $10, I think, or $15 at the gate, something like that.
Well, I could always pull some strings and get you some free
Oh,
tickets.
you have strings?
Well, a
Would you
city
be an orange
commissioner
ticket?
here or there.
Would you be an orange ticket? Or would you be a blue ticket?
I'm a purple ticket holder. So,
You're
but
bad.
you know. But anyway, so this show's going to be a little different. I called it the Just Because show. I'm trying to change the format a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And the way it's going to work now is it's going to be a little different. And we're going to talk about This Week in Tech.
Go ahead. Anything and everything?
Anything and everything. One of the
Come on.
things that's kind of hard to do a show when it's one topic is that either you don't have enough content or you've got too much content and so forth.
Right.
And it kind of gets boring. I think some viewers, don't want to concentrate on a single topic. I mean, I know we had episodes last year where we focused on solar energy, and I think that was one of our higher rated shows. And then we had the credit repair, which I think was pretty interesting. And of
That's
course,
one of the
all the
highest ones that friends and family have told me that they would like for us to revisit.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's true. We should revisit that again and see what we can do. I'd be curious to find out how the solar energy thing has worked out this past year, especially with the utility rates as high as they've been. I put a little post a few weeks ago that I thought it was a good idea for them to extend the disconnect moratorium.
I read that on Facebook. All right, I didn't even know there was a moratorium going on right now.
Yeah, there had been a moratorium since October where they were not disconnecting anybody regardless of how much was owed.
Did
And,
you receive any responses?
well, maybe one or two, but the people that I expected to respond didn't. And I'm a little surprised that a lot of people didn't do any likes about it. But I think part of the problem is that I don't think people are yet focused on that issue. I well, personally, I think the issue was put out early for a reason. People tend to forget and yawn.
Well, you put it out early, and then as new stuff comes on, it starts going to the bottom, to the bottom, to the
Right.
bottom, and the new stuff top, 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 top.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I know that that Oswald's been out there, still trying to keep the fire lit, but I honestly believe people right now it's just a big yawn,
mm-hmm.
because there's other issues that pop up. I mean, one of the big things, as you know, is that we live in an era where, news gets replaced by other news pretty quickly. So what today's hot, tomorrow's not. So one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I wanted to focus on is try to cover just a few things that may have happened throughout the week that would be more of interest,
All right.
than the normal one topic. We're still going to do one topics, don't get me wrong, but every so often we're going to do this week in tech show. It just depends, some weeks there's not a whole lot of things going on, other weeks there are. It just depends, but it's been pretty slow for me getting back on track with me not being able to talk or speak or because of this this crazy cough.
Well, that's what you got me for, right, man? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll fill in the gaps at any time, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
My gosh, I
yeah,
tell you, I don't
yeah.
know if I'm going to be able to go through this, but see, for
Well, if
anybody
you
out
can't
there
go
that
through
thought
it,
I was
man,
just
hey, just
being
let me
lazy
know.
and faking it, I'm not,
I
you know.
tell you, man. I'll tell you, hey,
Well,
well,
one of
let
the
me start with.
things I wanted to do before we jump into the news cycle
Uh huh.
is I wanted to talk about. Hold on. Sorry about that. A raffle. As
A
you know,
raffle.
we've got our own little cup now.
Cool.
And we want to do a raffle. It was originally supposed to be scheduled for the 27th of January with me being
All
sick
right.
and
What
all.
are you trying to show? And nothing's being seen on the screen.
There is.
All I see is little dots.
What?
All right. A black background with little dots, white dots.
Do you see me now?
All right. Yeah, I still see you. Yeah. All right.
You don't.
But I don't see anything. Are you trying to show something?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I don't
trying
see
to
anything.
show the raffle.
What raffle? There's nothing there.
There's a picture.
Of what?
Oh, look. Yeah, I do see it's not fast enough. That's weird.
I just see a black background with little white dots.
Yeah, that's the background, but
Uh huh.
there should be how about this? Do you see the hold on. What's going on? Do you see this?
This Week in Tech.
No, you don't. But you hear it, right?
I don't hear anything. I hear you only.
Really?
All right. Did you go and mess around with the settings again?
I didn't. I didn't. You're supposed to see a picture.
No, there's no picture there, sir.
Huh. That is weird.
Nope.
Wow.
No picture.
No picture? Yeah, I see that there's no picture. That is weird. Huh.
They're watching us.
I know.
Big Brother's watching us.
Let me see. Hold on. Wow. Hmm.
Nothing there.
Wow. Well, let me do this. Let me take this picture off. So you never got to hear the This Week in Tech?
This Week
Mm-mm.
in Tech.
Hold on. Let me stop the virtual cam and start it back up. That is weird.
Nothing's there.
All right. So let's do this. Yeah, it's a piece of software that what it does, it overlays on top of the screens, and basically it allows me to embed graphics and sound right on top of it. It pops in and out, but it's supposed to
All
work.
right.
Let me see here. Okay, so we're there. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Let me see here. We're
By any
gonna.
chance, do you have comments on or off? Are you recording?
Yeah, I have comments on which I'm waiting to see what
Yeah,
are.
we got to see Apple pandemic boom.
Yeah. Wow. My downstreamer keyer software is not working. So, well, we'll go ahead and get started with the news, I guess. Basically, uh, big problems for Apple. Their iPhone and Mac sales hit a snag. Apparently, they're saying that fell more than 8.8%, nearly 65.8 billion. Imagine 8% being 65.8 billion. Of course,
Man,
keep in mind they make billions of dollars, right? But one of the things they talk about is all the COVID-19 shutdowns that have happened across China. They're
right.
still having a lot of supply issues because a lot of the components come from China. But overall, I think beyond this number, I think what you're seeing is a reluctance of people to go out and just dish out the wallet for, phones that don't seem to be coming down in price. They just keep on going up, up, up,
They
up, up.
go up and up and up.
Yeah. And I know that you got a phone, a 14 series, and I know that my wife and my daughter got phones, also, and they weren't necessarily cheap. My wife and my daughter, we got the regular 14, and that's like $700 or $800. So I think that's part of the problem. People aren't rushing out there to get the latest and greatest phones, you know. Uh, if it
People that have
rings,
phones try and squeeze the life out of them,
yeah,
all right? Until they actually really need one,
right.
all right? That's what's going on now.
Yeah.
Before it was, let's upgrade, let's upgrade, let's upgrade.
Yeah.
Now it's saying, you know what? Do I really need a phone? No, I don't. So, hey, you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen there. Of course, they still made money, but obviously if you're used to making, in the trillions and then you're not selling, you know, that's a problem. They say it was a mix of continued part shortages, the COVID lockdowns in China, and then of course the last thing is people pulling back spending over fears of a recession. People,
which there still is a fear of recession.
well, you know, a recession is basically a downturn in economic activity, and as if you recall, inflation is the opposite. The reason why there's inflation is because there's too much spending going on. And that wasn't just recently. I think the government spending in general that started under the previous administration and it's continued on in this administration put too much money out there in the hand of the consumers. And as a result, you know, certain spending went up. There were other things, on the case of lumber, I think there was some issues in Canada where we get most of our lumber. So the demand, the supply for lumber was pretty expensive last year. The chip shortage,
Mm.
not being able to get the chips was a big contributing factor to, the cars not selling, you know, because if you recall last year, you'd go down every car dealership here and they barely had any cars.
They were empty.
I mean, I remember a time when Charlie Clark had cars all over the place, including the side road and part of the old movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then he had nothing because there was no cars. But once
Yep.
again, it's the chips, the chips shortage is a big problem. And, the worst part about that is people think, well, why can't they make more? Well, keep in mind that the chips that are used in cars and in airplanes and other devices other than computers or phones are chips that are older. They're manufactured under a different size of wafer. So, to get those, well, first of all, if you're making phones or you're making chips for phones and chips for computers, you're tooling your plant to manufacture the latest and greatest chips.
Right.
You
You're
can't
not
just, yeah,
backdate
you can't,
or go back to something of a previous model.
right. Well, not just a previous model, but a previous technology. So there's
Mhm.
companies out there that are still in the business of making these older generation chips for the kind of things like cars and airplanes and things like that because you don't need uh, the latest and greatest chips to run those things. In fact, uh, the funny story about an airplane like the 737 is that when they've got to update some of the hardware, software, excuse me, in the systems that are in a 737, for a long time, they had to literally use a floppy disk, a
Oh
3.5
wow.
inch floppy disk. Remember when a year or two ago when not Southwest, but Southwest and everybody that used the Boeing 737 Max,
Mm-hmm.
where two of the planes crashed and it killed all those people and they grounded all the planes for like a year, and it turned
Yes.
out to be a software glitch. The software was causing the computer basically to not let go and didn't really allow the pilot to do anything. It made it very difficult. So they had to upgrade the software, and the only way that they could upgrade the software is by putting it on a 3.5-inch disc that somebody had to go from Boeing, stick it in wherever they stuck it in to
Wow.
do the upgrade.
Wow.
I
So
mean,
now
people
that
don't
you're talking about
realize.
chips, remember, the new vehicles, they're still being produced without the chips.
Yeah,
And on the Monroney sticker, it says later retrofit.
yeah,
I know that because I just purchased a brand new vehicle, as you well know,
yeah,
and the Monroney sticker states that I will later get it retrofitted
right,
whenever the chips become available.
right,
My wife has had her vehicle for, well, going on a year, and the same issue,
yeah.
right? And they've already called her in saying, "Hey, your seat warmer chip is in." So whenever you have a chance, come into the dealership, and we'll retrofit it.
Yeah. It's incredible, totally incredible how the vehicles these days have so many chips that do so many things. You almost need a computer science degree.
Yep.
Back in the old days, pues, any chalan could actually fix a vehicle. Now you basically need an engineer.
Now they don't even want to mess with it.
No, they don't. In fact, you don't even want to mess with it because you don't know what gets affected. You know, back in the old days, all people had to worry was about an electrical short here or there. Not anymore. It's a little bit more complex, but
Well, remember
obviously,
my old Dodge Ram?
uh huh.
It's still in the dealership, and they don't know
Wow, they
what's wrong
haven't
with it.
fixed it.
They don't know what's wrong with it.
Wow, isn't that
Yeah, it's been
amazing?
there for over a month. So imagine, had I not jumped into this one, I would be without a vehicle.
Well, yeah,
Hmm.
that's crazy. I mean, I
Yes,
know
it is.
in the past I've always wanted to get one of those little thingamajigs that they sell at AutoZone that you hook up and it tells you maybe what's wrong with it, or at least it'll give you a code. But I think they're a little bit more sophisticated now than some of those things. So
Yes.
But I
Yes.
think Apple, is probably back to this Apple situation. It's probably, a combination of things, the shortages, the COVID lockdowns, and of course, people just are not dying to go get that new phone. And then, here in the States, people will do whatever it takes to get a brand new phone, you know. But what happens outside of the US where money is a little scarce? They were saying that a worker in a factory making these phones in either China or India, they calculated how long it would take for them to save money just to get the phone. And they were looking like at 1 or 2 years because, as you know, the salaries are a lot lower there than it is here. So when you look at it from an international standpoint, if people can't afford your phones, eventually you're going to feel it. And I think that's what,
Yes.
especially in China. So I don't know what they're going to do in the end. I mean, I think all of these cell phone manufacturers, not just Apple, but Samsung and some of the others, they really need to really refocus on that $400 range again and see what they can offer that would be pretty good at that range. I mean, beyond, the typical low entry models. I mean, it's not like they can't. It's not like the $1,000 phone has got a more expensive parts than the $400 phone.
No, it's the same parts.
It's the same parts. They're just being stingy. So that's kind of interesting. That was news in itself. And of course, Samsung, they're about to release the Samsung Galaxy S23 first look. It's supposed to be their new flagship. It comes with a 200 megapixel
My
camera.
gosh.
200 megapixel camera. But guess what? Look at how much it costs. It's going to cost $1,200.
Woo boy.
$1,200. It
A
is
lot of
just,
money.
that is a lot of money. I mean, what's so funny about this is we go crazy over megapixels. But there was a time where if you got, I can't remember. I mean, definitely 1 megapixel was pretty low, right? But I think it was like the threshold was like 12 megapixels. And basically, what that threshold was that for over 70 years, nobody took a picture that was even several megapixels at all.
Right. Right.
And now we've got cameras that are up there doing all these megapixels. And I'm not even sure. I mean, what you get for the extra megapixels. I mean,
I have no idea.
it's kind of crazy, but yeah, I mean, 200 megapixels. That is kind of interesting, that they're coming out with that.
I would
Have
like
you
to
heard
see
about
one of the pictures.
uh
I would like to see one of those pictures.
Yeah, I'd like to see what it is. Maybe you get Superman X-ray vision. You see through. It'll help you in your job. You can see through
Yeah.
metal.
Hey.
Have you heard about Chat GPT?
No. What is that?
It's an artificial intelligence chat bot. And let me see if I can go to it.
What is it
Chat
supposed to do?
GPT. Well, there's people. Let me see if I can get on. I got on the last time. Let's see. Yeah, it's called an open AI. Where is it? I was on it the other day. It was pretty cool. Let me see. Chat.
You need to move your speaker, your mic.
Which?
There we go.
Yeah. Give me a second here. Open AI. I wanted to show this to you because it was pretty cool. API. Oh man, maybe I have to log in. Maybe that was the deal. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta log in. Give me a second. Hopefully, I remember my password. Yes, I do. So basically, what I was playing with is you can build an application. Where was it? There was some examples. Man, I know I had it here. It was pretty cool. Text completion. Let's see. Plus, I know I was in there. Hold on. Introduction. There was what it basically did is you typed certain things and it came back with you with um what the heck happened here? I know I had it. Hold on. Let me get out of here. Maybe I logged into the wrong thing. But basically you ask it questions and it comes up with all this is not a whatchamacallit
A Siri or Alexa?
no. People are doing all kinds of stuff with it. Let me see. Chat, blog. Where is it? Let's see. Chat GPT. Chat. Let's see if this works. I'll try it again. But what people are going crazy over this. Oh, next, never, next, next, next. All right. So you want to say, pick a topic. What topic do you want to talk about? Make it hard.
Guns.
Huh?
Guns.
How about making making a gun from a in a 3D printer? So what it's basically doing is it's actually creates uh, words and paragraphs for you automatically. So
Wow.
there are kids using the Chat GPT AI bot to literally create papers and stuff like that automatically in paragraphs. So, like for example, let's talk about music editing. So the chat AI box creates all this information for you that you can then grab and use. So it's giving you some information about music editing, and then it gives you suggestions on is the kind of software you may be interested in looking at.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there was talk about how this was going to revolutionize real estate.
Wow, all that stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So basically, it goes out to the internet and brings you a whole bunch of stuff.
I don't know how it works, but is intelligently. So now I typed in Starbase. Look at that.
And is there a subscription for this?
Right now there isn't, but what it basically is an artificial intelligence system, and it basically formulates solutions for you uh, automatically. And they're talking about this technology being used. This goes beyond search. It
Mm-hmm.
really does. It's not like you're typing
Right.
something in Google.
Okay.
But think about it. If you're a student today and you've got a research paper, you let the artificial intelligence bot create basically the entire paragraphs for you.
Yeah, but then you have to do the references.
Hmm.
So this is something like, what was that called? The Cliff Notes?
Oh, I use those all
Cliff
the
Notes?
time. They're
Huh?
my favorite. Cliff Notes were the best. That of the copy
Hey,
machine back in those days. But yeah, this is becoming a very, very big tool. It's called Chat GTP. And you're going to hear a lot about it in the next few years because the idea is to incorporate, you know, artificial intelligent design in just about every aspect. So let's say changing an alternator. Let's see what it
mm-hmm.
does there. ¿Puede hacer tonteo? No,
What
it's still
happened?
thinking. It's still thinking.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Man,
You stumped it.
I know. Or there's a lot of information on how to change an alternator.
Wow.
Well, we'll leave it in the background running. Hopefully, it doesn't kill my machine. But basically, why everyone's obsessed with mind blowing chat GPT AI chatbot. The artificial intelligence bot can answer questions and write essays and program computers. Now you can pay to use it. There's a new form of AI called ChatGPT. Even if you're not into artificial intelligence, you should pay better attention. And basically says the tool from a powerful player called OpenAI lets you type natural language prompts. ChatGPT offers conversational, if not somewhat stilted, answers and responses. The bot remembers the thread of your dialogue and using previous questions and answers to inform its next responses. And it says is an AI chatbot system. For example, you can ask it encyclopedia questions, explain Newton's law. You can tell it, write me a poem, and it does. So imagine that. You're a kid, you need a poem, you go to the chat bot and it does it for you. That's what I was trying to get across, is that students are using it today to create things that they don't have to worry about thinking about anymore, because the computer through
Man,
artificial intelligence is actually doing that. So let's see what it did. No, but it's still going. Is it? Maybe not. Maybe I just. Oh, there it is. Look. It
war.
says the alternator is a crucial component in a car's charging system, responsible for generating the electrical power needed to run the car's electrical systems and recharge the battery. If the alternator is not working, it can lead to battery drain and other electrical problems. Here is a basic overview of the steps involved in changing an alternator. Locate the alternator. The alternator is typically located in the front of the engine on the side closest to the radiator. So think about it. You're a mechanic or you're a chalan down on Southmost and you don't know shit. Well, now you can pretend to know shit because the
But
AI
all
bot
that
is
is
telling you how to
in,
do it.
but YouTube has all that, and there's a video.
Well, I know, but this thing's smarter than that. It goes through, I mean, think about it. How many times have you been on YouTube and you're kind of like forward, 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 and you sometimes miss stuff,
Yes.
you know? So basically, it can create poems. So you're a student, you need a poem immediately. You know, what kind of questions I asked it to write a poem and it did. Though I don't think any literature experts would be impressed. You know, and then let's see, what else did this guy say? Oh, it can also write computer code as well. So the danger here for programmers is this artificial intelligent device or software may put them out of business.
Right, with a jump.
I know. Danger for me. So you're going to be hearing a lot about Chat GPT really, really soon. You
Right.
know, so the other thing I guess that came about is oh, look, here's Google. See, it expects to our answer to Chat GPT in a few weeks. I guess Google is doing their own thing as well. So this is beyond search, you know. Hey, your favorite quarterback retired again? Is that true?
Yes, he did. He did a Twitter feed saying, "This is it. It's over."
How many times have you heard that one before, though?
Hey. But he said this time it was for real. There it is.
Yeah,
There's the Twitter feed.
there's the Twitter feed. Let me see if I can play it.
Good morning, guys.
Can you hear it?
I'll get to the point
No.
right away.
You can't hear it?
I'm retiring
What's
for good.
going on? Oh,
I
you know
the
why?
process was a pretty big.
I know why it's happening. Because of the way I switched it so you could hear me in Zoom. I know that's
All
what the
right.
issue is, so I got to figure that out. That's kind of weird. Well, we'll see how long he remains retired, though.
Well, apparently, I heard he got a good deal on a sportscasting network.
Oh, but they're not gonna be fawning over him like Tony Romo, though. You know, the
Well, I
ladies
don't
just
know.
love Tony Romo.
I don't know.
You know, that's why they watch, because of Tony Romo. You know. So, do you have Peacock? Are you a
No.
subscriber to Peacock
No.
yet? That's a
Nope.
new
It's
streaming
free, isn't it?
service. No, it costs money. But
Yes, there is.
yeah, but
Isn't that
apparently,
NBC?
yeah, that's NBC. But you know, I think they show that Yellowstone show, which I don't know if you've seen. I haven't followed up with that, you know.
No, me neither.
So I don't know. But my father-in-law had it for a while, and then he recently canceled, I think, you know. So the big thing is the S23's coming out, uh, so that's going to be interesting, as that rolls out. But that's also still going to be a pricey, phone. I
Yeah,
think.
$1,200, dude.
I know. I mean, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So, did you get any TVs this Christmas? Santa didn't drop
No,
any
sir.
present.
No TVs this Christmas. I'll be honest with you. I did some spring cleaning and I found my receipt. You won't believe that I've had my TV for over 10 years.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Over 10 years.
Well, it's incredible. It's incredible. I think the TV that we had here, the TVs are probably close to 10 or over 10 by now, And I did get a TV, but it was a hand me down. My father in law upgraded his TV and he handed me a 65-inch TV.
Wow.
And it's a
You
Vizio.
must be a good son in law.
I'm always a good son in law, you know? And
All right.
so, and so, he gave me that TV and we put it up and it works well. I mean, it works well.
And whatever happened to the old TV?
Well, the old TV's in the garage, and I have a funny feeling that there was nothing wrong with it. I think what happened is the cord probably busted, and
And you haven't
so
checked it out?
no, I haven't checked it out because I put it in a corner of the garage that I can't reach right now. But I'm half tempted to go and plug in a new cord and see if it works. If it does, I'm gonna be kind of pissed because I had that TV down for about 2 years. And if it was something as simple as that, which, as you know, can happen to me, I may be bright, but sometimes things that are simple just go way past me. And so, if it was something that simple, I am going to be upset, but not really, because I'll bring it up here to this room up here. So I'll put it on the wall. But so the other news, of course, is they seem to have found more moons orbiting Jupiter. It's kind of weird that after 50 years of us sending space probes and stuff like that, we discover that we didn't quite were looking in the right place. But that's kind of interesting. And by the way, as you know, we're getting ready here to hopefully see the first Starship orbital launch. I think it's going to happen, I think, the first or second week of March. That's what I hear. So it's going to be kind of
You want to hear
interesting.
something funny? I still haven't been over there.
You're kidding. No?
Nope.
Well, you should. I mean, it's something interesting. If you ever went down there to Boca Chica back in the old days when
Yes.
there was nothing out there, and you go now, you'll be amazed at what's been built and what's been done out there. Um, there's a segment of people in this town that don't like them and they want to run them out of town for
Uh
whatever
huh.
different reasons. But once you go down there, you will quickly feel the enormity of the complex. And you know how last year there was a few people running for office that were saying, well, he can leave out of town whenever he wants. What's a few
Uh
million
huh.
dollars for him? Well, that's kind of stupid. That kind of thinking is very stupid because once you go down there and you see the enormity of what's being done, it's not an operation that's going to close anytime soon. And
No, right now is it just R&D or is it?
it's an R&D. They
All right.
develop they develop and manufacture the rockets, the Starship rockets, and that's what the intention is. The intention is for it to be an R&D facility, and then the Florida site will be the actual commercial launch part of it.
Mm,
But if you really think about the plans the SpaceX has to do 100 Starship launches per year, there's just absolutely no way that the Florida site could handle that. Uh, just because it's impossible. So I think eventually you'll probably see some commercial activity here. But for right now, hey, R&D's fine. They're building them here. They're testing them here, you know. And that means jobs. So in my opinion, it makes perfect sense to build them down here because the actual rocket engines are built up in McGregor, Texas.
right.
So right now, those rocket engines are shipped over to California. Then they either have to ship those rockets over over trucks or they have to do it over ocean. And if it's ocean, they can't cross the Panama Canal, so they have to go around South America. So when you're trying to cut costs, save money, it just makes sense. Plus, the cost of labor down here is much cheaper than anywhere else. At
Yes.
$35 an hour for a welder down here, that's cheap compared to what you'd be paying somebody up north, especially a union member. So I think eventually it's gonna probably expand to more. At least that's the hope that it does. But you got to
I
go
was
down there.
reading somewhere that the beach was closed without prior notice, and nobody knew anything about it.
I don't know. I mean, once you go down there, and people bitch and complain about that. They do. I mean, they bitch and complain about that. But when you go down there and you see where the rockets are manufactured, and you'll be able to notice where they're housed and how they have to get to the launch pad. The launch pad is not next to the manufacturing area. It's about a mile away. In order for those rockets to get to the launch pad, there's only one way, and that's through Highway 4.
All right.
Because when you look to the right or to the left, there's nothing but marshland and water. So, how else are they going to go? So, as you know, rockets are heavy and they have to go very, very slow to the launch
Slow,
pad.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, it could take several hours, maybe an entire day, just to get back and forth. So, yes, there's probably closures happening much more frequently. But I think those people that complain a lot are probably people that always were used to coming, going whenever they pleased, especially if they wanted to go ship, fishing or whatever. But if you look at the way they have to do it, there's no other way. I mean, in fact, there was always talk, I remember when I had Gascos on last year and I showed him the picture about how and where they had to go to move those rockets. He talked about, well, SpaceX can foot the bill and build us another road so we can have access to the beach. But that I don't even know if Cascos has ever gone down there. I don't think he has, and anybody that complains probably doesn't either. But when you go down there and you turn to the right or to the left and you see all that marshland and water, you can't build a road, an alternate road to get to the beach. That's impossible. It won't last, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the long term, but something has to be done a little different. I think one of the ideas is why don't we build a uh, a connection between the port and Boca Chica Beach, or forget building a road. You know, Musk and company are experts at building tunnels. Besides El Chapo,
Right.
of course.
Right.
Let's let's build an underwater tunnel. Let's put one in. In fact, all this talk about a second causeway, why a causeway? Why do we have to rely on old technology? Why don't we do something cool? Let's put a tunnel as an alternate, an underwater tunnel as an alternate source to get to the island. One that you can go under the bay, hopefully deep enough, and you'll be able to drive and see everything around you. Now that would be cool. And you know what? It probably wouldn't be any more expensive than having to build an actual causeway, in my opinion. But we're not forward thinkers. We just aren't. You know,
Right.
you know, I don't know if we'll ever build that second causeway. To be honest with you, I mean,
I doubt it very much.
the there's a lot of politics involved, as you know. Port Isabel and Brownsville and Los Fresnos are not interested in supporting that new causeway. The only
Right.
people that are
They'll lose
wanting the new
money.
causeway is people in Harlingen because they think that that's gonna rebring the Renaissance to them like the good old days where they reigned supreme. But I don't think that's
Right.
gonna help, in my opinion. Yeah, but I think, in my opinion, if we want access to another way to get to the island, let's build a tunnel. Same thing with Boca Chica. Let's build a different way to get there. Maybe to the side of the jetties. I don't know. But you got to go down there. I really, really think your girls will love to go down there, at least to see it once. Um, they do not offer tours. I think you saw some people advertising on Facebook yesterday.
Yes, I did.
Well, that's not true. My sources, my high level sources say you're not allowed in the facility. So all it is a couple of guys that apparently have found a way to an easy buck from what I hear, and they're targeting the winter Texans at the RV parks and getting them all excited about getting a tour of Starbase. And all they do is they just take you over to where the Starbase sign is. They spiel something about the facility, which they don't know because they're not Starbase employees. Then they'll take you to a road which anybody can go. It's one road, and you can actually go towards the back, and you can see the starships that are there being tiled. But that's as far as you can go. And then, of course, you can pull back from there, and then head half a mile, and then you could pass right by the launch pad, and then maybe I don't know how many feet, 1,000, 2,000 feet is the entrance to Boca Chica Beach
Oh
itself.
wow.
Yeah, but you should go down there. What really surprises me, and as a kid, I remember going down to Boca Chica quite a bit. I've been down there a couple of times, and as I look to the right or to the left, I'm really surprised how the heck they built all this stuff around all this water and marshland. I can't remember that it was that flooded back in the old days. Maybe I was a kid and never noticed. But a lot of times some of the YouTubers that are out there all the time, they haven't been able to get there because the water apparently goes over Highway 4 now.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a video from one of the YouTubers, one of the girls that's a YouTuber, and you could literally see the water right at the edge of the road. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so it's kind of interesting, but I think that I'm surprised how they've managed to build around all that water and stuff like that. And then, there used to be a historical marker, a couple of with regards to Palmetto Hill. Remember Palmetto Hill?
Yes.
I don't see those anymore. I don't know where they're at. I don't know if they've been overcome by brush. Maybe a drunk ran into the signs, but all that is like gone. So,
Hmm.
I'm trying to recollect from when I was small, on my trips, where you used to go with your cousins, aunts, and uncles, and they put you all back in the pickup truck in the back when it wasn't illegal. Maybe it's always been illegal. I don't know. You don't see that anymore, but
Right.
they used to haul, you, the barbecue pit, the dog, and everything, and the food and everything in the back of the pickup, and pues
Yep.
there you went. You went, to get all sandy and pegostio and all that stuff, and now that stuff doesn't happen anymore. Plus,
Well, it does happen. Hey, just we don't see it.
maybe because we become too sophisticated, we go down to the island now.
I still say it happens, Dan. Right? I bet you 9 times out of 10 that it still happens. Anyway, you
It
know, if
it
it
probably
happens on the
does. And
island,
don't get me wrong, I don't it's not that I don't feel for these people that are complaining about access to the beach. I'm not saying that I don't feel for what they are complaining for. I understand that they were used to living a certain way and being able to go back and forth. I mean, I remember when there was no checkpoint on Highway 4,
right? Mm-hmm.
you know? You didn't have to worry about having to present your papers back in the old days. I understand all of that. But, to take the position that some of these people have taken, where they just want to run any business out of town that they don't politically align with just because, it's just crazy. Especially when, the people down here need jobs. They need jobs that pay good salaries. So, how can you take a position that you believe everybody should make $15 an hour, but then when the companies that show up to pay that amount or more show up to provide jobs, you're doing everything under the sun to run them out of town? You're talking out of two ends of your body.
Yep.
You want this, but you don't want that. And that's my problem with it. You know, what's it going to be? You want $15 an hour or more? Or you want to go soak in the sun, in a controlled fashion? I don't know, but I do feel for them. I know that I've been a little hard ass before with regards to some of the protesting going on, but it's not that I don't feel for them, but they're missing the big picture. They're too concerned about their own little slice of heaven, you know. And like I've told you, there is truth to my statement. Nobody gave a shit about that beach before. They went to the beach, they left their rusted out grills, broken beer bottles, their soiled baby diapers, you know. They left a car when it broke down there to rust. Some people lost their graduation rings down there.
Hey, 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 hey.
You know?
That was at the island.
Oh, that was at the island. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it
All
was at
right.
Boca Chica.
Oh.
Somebody told me it was
Okay.
behind the sand dunes. I don't know what you were doing
Oh,
down there.
no, 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 no. That was at the water.
So, you know, but all of that, what I've just said, is true. They littered the place only to have school kids go 6 months or a year later to pick up after all their trash.
Not just school kids, hey. Parents of school kids
Parents of
also.
school kids.
I was
And
one of them.
and now all of a sudden we found this love for Boca Chica Beach when you didn't give a shit about it before. And I hate to use that language, but it's just the damn truth.
But
You
you
know?
remember something, Dan. You don't appreciate something until it's almost taken away from you,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it's about to be taken away from you.
Yeah.
That's when all eyes, focus on that.
Right.
Right? You have it, you have it, you have it, and then hey, even if you don't use it, you have it.
Right.
Right? But as soon as somebody tries to take it away from you or take away access to it, hey, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why? Right? And that's what my point, right? You know, we all knew that in the back of our mind, it was there, open 24/7.
For more awesome content,
Right?
like and subscribe
Yeah.
now.
Hey, so for it all of a sudden to be shut down with no previous notice, give me a notice.
Well, that was the idea, is that there was going
Okay,
to be
that
a
was the
notice.
idea. But has it been happening more frequently without notices?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing is that I think there, in fairness to them, is that, you know, first of all, they should have never signed a contract or agreed to a contract which only allowed them to do like 1 or 2 days of testing. As you well know, in the real world out there, especially with them building what they're building, 1 or 2 days is not enough, you know.
Well, they didn't. The average person down here would jump up in arms.
Well, they probably didn't realize how much the average person also probably went down there,
Yes.
you know.
All right. I think they miscalculated that factor where
Yeah.
a average Joe, average Steve, average Dan, all right, they don't go to the
Yeah.
beach that often now. All right. You know, when in reality, these people do go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the end. Obviously, there's going to have to be give and take. I mean, they're not going away anywhere. There's no doubt
I'm
about
not
that.
saying for them to go away. I'm just saying for them to abide by the contract that they signed.
Well, yeah, but see, there's where the ish. That's where I was trying to remind Mr. Gascos, back last year, is that when they signed that contract back in 2014, the business conditions were very different. At the time, SpaceX was unable to get launch schedules
Right.
set up in Florida.
Right.
So they had to compete against other companies that were doing the same thing. So that's when they started looking for an alternate site to do that. And so back in 2014, that's they looked at this place because, by the way, this place had been looked at by NASA in the 50s as a potential site. It's not the first time that Boca Chica was considered. It's actually the second time. So this, looking at all the other possible sites, was going to be the most comparable site to complement Florida. So the business conditions were very different back then, and they expected to do commercial launches here in support of the space station and so forth. And so those conditions changed, since 2014. They were
Right.
able to secure one of the old shuttle launch pads, and the Starship program didn't even exist back then, by the way. That was the other thing that people don't realize, is that the Starship program did not even exist back then. So obviously the focus came about on Starship now, and it's a much heavier rocket. It's a much bigger. It's going to be the biggest rocket ever built with 39 engines. So the conditions have changed. So you can't hold them to that contract because that contract is really not null and void, but it's outdated for what it needs. A new contract, in my opinion, means they're going to need more than just a day or two. It may be a week, but people are not going to get less out of a new contract. They're going to lose more out of a new contract because of the conditions that exist today. It's we can say we want them to abide, or let's say if we want them to amend, well, be careful what you ask for, because the conditions today require more than just a day for testing.
And that's where people are gonna go in another uproar.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on! It was just a couple of days now. It's a week and a half.
I mean, what happens? Because keep in mind, a lot has changed. SpaceX is now going to build not only the lunar space station, but also the landers, the Starship landers, to land on the moon before Mars. That has to happen in 2 years. Wow. So what they're doing today here has an impact on the lunar program in the next 2 years. So if you think you're going to get less closures, it's not going to happen. And if the federal government needs those starships for the lunar program, you're going to see more closures, more activity down there,
Well,
more
we're already
jobs.
seeing more closures. All right, so that's nothing out of
Yeah,
the. I,
yeah,
we're seeing more closures regardless.
yeah. You're going to
Mm.
see more of
They're
that.
just
So,
not notifying the general public like they
well,
were before.
that's really the responsibility of the county, too. The county's the one that's supposed to do the notification of those closures. Now, whether they don't want to do that or they're scared to do that because of voter backlash or whatever, that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not SpaceX's responsibility to do the general alert to the public. That role belongs to the county, and they need to. The problem is, I don't think they want to tell people that this is the way it's going to be. Somebody's just got to own a pair, get up, belly up to
Hey,
the
hey,
bar, and tell these people it's just the way it is. Se chingaron.
slow down.
I mean, it is what it is. You know.
Yep.
So
Man.
I don't know. You know, but they are our largest employer now in the area. You know, uh, obviously we can't let you know spray paint can't protesters and a few others dictate the future of the city. And by the way, we're having mayoral candidates come up here in a couple of weeks, so I've already got one lined up.
You're famous.
I'm not gonna say.
I already know who it is, right? So
I'm
it
not gonna
can't
say.
be, it can't be your cousin. So
I'm not gonna say. It's gonna be a surprise. Of course, you probably don't think it's a surprise.
no, it's not a surprise to me. I know who it is.
But yeah,
Well,
so
Hashman's running for mayor.
I'd vote
So
for him. I'd
see,
vote for
right,
him.
Hashman, run for mayor.
We'll do actually we'll do co-bears. Hashround will take over one for 6 months, and Oreo can take over the
There we
following
go.
six
See,
months.
yep. Hey,
But
dude,
anyway,
I didn't know the mayor position wasn't a paid position.
no elected city position is a paid position. Zero. What they do get, I think they get a little stipend for every meeting they attend. I know that a few years ago they wanted to pay their health insurance, but that kind of got voter backlash a little bit. I don't
Yep.
know if they've get anything for maybe cell phone, but no. If you really want to run for a paid elected position, you've got to go to the county. County judge, sheriff, county commissioner. I think they make like
Commissioner.
65, maybe $70,000 a year. I'd like to be the county coroner, as you know, when I pointed that out to
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Costco's last year. How could somebody make $400,000?
No, sir. That was no, he didn't believe it.
Well, once again, I can understand when we were in the pandemic that maybe they needed extra coroner help, with all the people that were dying, but I don't know how that's possible today, but maybe it was a clerical line error. I don't know, but
Doubt
um,
it.
you know, it's kind of interesting. But I definitely would like to be the coroner, no doubt. I wouldn't like the job. I just want the money. I couldn't handle the job. I can't I don't even go to funerals. I intend to be late to my own, so,
I don't plan to go to mine.
I don't plan to either. At least that's my hope, so I'll take whatever artificial parts they can put more in me. I don't mind
Hey.
plastic, so
Ay.
anyway, well, that's pretty much a wrap up for tonight. I know it
Awesome.
wasn't the typical show, but
Something different.
I needed to get back into the swing of things and try to work my voice and my cough. I'm a little annoyed that my little things that I worked on didn't work, but I think it hasn't. I don't think it has anything to do with you. I think it has to do with how I'm connecting voice wise to Zoom,
Zoom. Mm-hmm.
because what's happening is anything outside the normal process that's supposed to work with the software doesn't seem to. So I'll have to do a little bit of practice. The problem is I won't know unless I'm in Zoom. It works
Oh,
everywhere outside other than in Zoom. So
Zoom. Mm.
yeah, I don't
Did you
know.
have music in the intro?
I did.
I didn't hear that either.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going on is that something within Zoom. What you'll do when we're done and it hits the recording, you're
Uh
gonna
huh.
hear the music.
Wow.
So it's going to the recording, but I think what's happening is you're not hearing it in Zoom.
Hmm.
And I know why. I have a funny feeling I know why because I'm using a technology that simulates RCA audio cables. They're actually virtual audio cables. So in theory, I should not be having a direct connection of this mic into Zoom. It should be going through the virtual audio
Right.
cable feed. And for whatever reason, it's not doing it. And it hasn't been doing it for a while. I think the last time that Doug was on, I think we had the same problem. So it's probably a setting somewhere that I haven't set right or I messed with. But I think right now, when we get off, you're going to find out when you listen to the recording that you're going to see the audio. You're going to hear the audio. You're not going to see. I'll be surprised if you don't see the video in the recording, the little pop up of the raffle. I think you're going to see it. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
Well, I'll check it out. I'll
yeah.
definitely check it out right now.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
anyway, well, I'm glad that you were able to come on.
Well, I
Like I
appreciate
said,
it. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's not every day that we're able to do this, but when we do, it's good.
yeah.
And I'll tell you something. Your voice didn't go away. So,
No, it gets better. Once I get rolling and my throat starts getting warmer, then the coughing goes away for a little bit.
mhm.
But it's still there,
All
and
right.
it's very, very annoying. I mean,
Mhm.
if it doesn't get any better, then my last option is going to be liquor, but I don't want to go there. So,
Está bueno.
all right. Well,
All right,
thanks
you be safe.
everybody
You
for
have a good night.
watching. I know it was a little longer than most cases, but we're trying out a new format. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back uh, next week.
Awesome. We'll see ya.
Alrighty. Bye bye. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was different. Um, different topics, which are good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we didn't, like you said, didn't stay on one topic. So yeah. The only thing that did, like I told you earlier, was the music. All right, the audio.
Yeah.
Right. The video, but you know, and by any chance, did you have comments on?
Yeah, the comments are on. Did you see the comments?
I didn't see any.
Oh, other than the first comment.
Only that's it. That's the only one.
Yeah. What I think, oh, you know what? I did have comments. The problem is that, remember, I don't have them on auto feed anymore because of the porn.
Oh,
Hold on. Let me see. No, we didn't have anybody chime in anyway. Yeah, I
all
don't
right.
have it on auto right now either.
Because of the issue.
Yeah. Now it hasn't happened anymore. So I'm glad that it hasn't happened
So
because where they were coming from YouTube. They were not coming from